everybody, this is Dr. Kalpana Sringar from Prakruthi Charitable Foundation. Welcome to my channel, Tuning a Fragile Mind. I have already spoken about alcoholism and drug addiction in my previous videos. Today let me brief you about the other types of addictions like mobile addiction, cyber addiction, addiction to trading, addiction to gambling. So these are also similar to the substance abuse addictions. They fall almost in the same category. And these days, these addictions are on a rise. Many children and even adults, they start watching all these things. They cannot leave the phone even for a couple of minutes. Even small children who are less than 1 year old are so habituated to seeing a thing on a mobile phone that they don't eat without seeing that. There are other people who work for MNCs who are always glued to the internet. Many of them have turned addicts. They cannot stop working on the computer even when they are sitting at home. They cannot even communicate with people. They are lost in their own world. They cannot even stop seeing a phone. They cannot even stop making a video call. Even the poorest of the poorest in our society, they have 1 or 2 mobile phones. They cannot do away with it. They love making video calls. Forget about audio calls. They love making only video calls. And they talk hours on end whenever they're given a phone. So if things continue like this, there'll be a lot of problem when they're interacting with their family members or friends. Supposing a person has gone to attend a function or a party, and instead of interacting with everyone, even you people must have noticed, they sit with their phones and they start playing video games on it, or they sit and chat with somebody, they send messages to somebody. So if this sort of a thing goes on, people will start moving away from them and they'll start isolating themselves from the real world. There are so many people who are addicted to trading, the stock market. They get up early in the morning at 8 o'clock and the first thing they do is they switch on their mobile phones and they start trading. And it goes on for hours till they reach a point where they can either buy or sell a share. There are people who are glued to these auction sites. They go to that and they start, bidding. There are some people, they start online shopping. Either they buy or they sell or they buy it for themselves or their friends. It goes on like this. No matter how much they spend, they feel that they are getting so much of happiness doing such a thing. This is also an addiction. It's enough if you buy what is required for you. Just because you get things online, you don't need to shop so much. Just because you are interested in the stock market, you don't sit and go on trading from morning till the stock market shuts. There are so many people who are using the internet for different reasons. You ask them a simple topic, they start Googling it. Okay, Google it, find out the information. But this shouldn't become an obsession. From morning till night, if you're sitting and watching something or following your friends or seeing some TikTok videos, or you see some things which are posted by your friends, see, this is not enough for you. You need to learn much more. Your health is getting spoiled just sitting in front of the net or in front of your phone. Instead, pick up some hobbies, talk to people, have a good friend circle, like-minded people who like something that you have achieved or something that you can, gather people and talk about. Instead of just sitting and gluing yourself in front of the monitor and spoiling your health, don't you think these things are also required for a good life? A person who is always addicted to such things will start isolating himself or herself. they will lose what's happening in reality. They just sit inside their rooms and they do watch on the net. But what about the environment surrounding them? They have no sympathy or empathy. They lose all this because they are living in their own world. They do not like any company, because when there are people around, it becomes a little difficult for them to just sit in front of these things and watch. There are people who are addicted to pornography. They learn different things. There are people who become sadomasochistic. They cannot come out of it. They sit and watch porn from morning till night. They enter the adult chat rooms. They believe in cyber sex. By doing such things, they really lose their relationship with their partners. They do not pay any attention to their family members, whether it's children or their spouse, or whether to taking care of the house, or sitting and having a discussion like how it used to be before all these things came in. So life becomes totally different when you are addicted to certain things. There are even people, I've seen a small child is given a phone when they are feeding the child. Others, the child refuses to eat. So they keep the phone in front of the child and then start feeding the child. You must have noticed, even on the dining table, you see people having a phone when they are eating. Whether it's a small child, whether it's a teenager or an adult, it's the same thing. So their health starts getting ruined. They may eat a lot, or they may not eat at all. They start becoming weak, or they put on a lot of weight if they eat a lot. They do not exercise. They forget interacting. They go into mood swings. They become anxious. If they don't, for example, a person who is involved in gaming activities, who is an addict to gaming, he always sits and starts playing those games. Supposing he loses, he doesn't stop at it. He plays much more to see that he wins at least once. So till he wins, he goes on getting obsessed and he goes on playing this. So there's a phase of, a kind of sadness that he hasn't won. He has lost in a game or two. And when he wins, okay, there's a bit of happiness. But this continues. 24 hours in a day is not enough for these people. Then people, who are addicted to cyber sex, they have different names because they don't like to show their identity. They're in their own sexual fantasies. They're in a fantasy world. They talk about various things. And when it really comes to reality, they shirk. They are scared. They are frightened. But they're very, very tolerant about what is happening in cyber sex. So ultimately what happens is, in reality, they will not have real good relationships with their spouse. So when they start seeing these pornographic things and they expect their partners to behave in the same manner, many relations, they break up. There's so much of divorce rate these days. Why is there so much of divorce rate? Because of these things that are happening. Almost every day we get a case like this, who is either addicted to cyber sex, who is either addicted to a mobile phone, or who is addicted to the net. There are some people who have come to me because they are always bothered about trading and making more money. And once they lose their money, they go into severe depression. They stoop into such severe depression that it becomes difficult for them to come out of it. So instead of all these addictions, which are so close to your nicotine addiction, gutka addiction, or drug addiction, or alcoholism, why don't you people try to, divert your mind in different ways? Go for a morning walk or an evening walk. See the nature around you. Talk to your friends. Discuss your problems. You'll really become healthy. Your sleep pattern improves. With addictions, your sleep pattern goes down. You become insomniac. Your appetite goes down. Sometimes in some people it increases because they don't see what they are eating. They eat and they are playing. There are cases who have really got a heart attack and died because of these addictions. So, when you think that something is really bad and it is having a negative impact on your lives, why don't you change your ways for the better? There are so many things in this world that you can do. You can go traveling, you can learn some hobbies, you can take care of your health, learn Tai Chi, learn Jiu-Jitsu, or you learn yoga, meditation. You sit and write what you've done. How many of you maintain diaries? How many of you know how much you have spent? People, when they get addicted to anything, for example, they start spending a lot of money and they start losing money. And once they become paupers, it becomes very difficult for them to come up again, especially during the pandemic. Now we have already got another virus in hand, and we do not know how much it is going to destroy the world. So with such addictions, we have to be really careful and try to come out of these addictions. We have treatment centers. Supposing you notice your friends or your family having such an addiction, please try to get them to centers where they'll be helped. They cannot come out of it by themselves. It is very difficult for a person to come out of these addictions by himself or herself. There should be some backing, there should be some support given. The family has to give them support, as well as a medical professional and a psychologist. Without these people coming together to help a person with such addictions, it becomes highly impossible. I read it in a news quite some time back where a person was addicted to selfies. There are so many people who go on taking selfies. They want to see how they look in different angles. And supposing they don't look good, they develop a body dysmorphic syndrome. They go for surgeries. They go for Botox therapy, where they want their face to be taut. There should be no wrinkles. They spend tons and tons of money on these things. Why don't you live naturally? Why don't you see that you live happily by getting rid of all these addictions? Now, for example, I was talking about the case which was shown in the newspapers recently, where a fellow goes on top of a train and he tries to take a selfie. His head hits an electric wire and he dies on the spot. Is this what we want? Some of them go on top of a cliff and they start taking selfies. One step behind, they fall down and they die. So these things are really unnecessary. They talk when they are driving. They meet with accidents. There are so many deaths because of such instances. So, people should see what is good for them and what is bad for them. I came across a small child who was addicted to PUBG. So this small child, he was taken by his relatives to a place for a get-together. He met some boys who are older than him and they started playing PUBG. He comes back to his house and he behaves in a very odd manner with his own sister who was a little child. So they learn all wrong things at a wrong age. And these addictions are really bad. They try to, develop different traits, violent traits. They become violent. People who go to playstations, who take their children and leave them there to play those games. Children stop interacting. Many of them stop talking. They only play those games. They become violent. They throw temper tantrums. Even adults who are addicted to these things, they too behave in the same manner. So when you come across such people, kindly take them for therapy. Counselors, psychologists, and medical practitioners, they will definitely help them. We use different sorts of therapies: cognitive behavior therapy, behavior modification therapy, individual psychotherapy. Sometimes even family therapy is very, very essential for such people. We sometimes have 2 to 3 types of therapies, all put together to help such patients so that they break the habit. So, in case you come across such people, you can refer them to us or to anybody else who deals with such cases. And Prakruthi is known to help such people. We have helped quite a number of cases, and you can safely get them to us, or you can take them to any other rehabilitation center. They need to be rehabilitated, because unless and until they are rehabilitated and they have to follow a correct regime, they will not quit the habit. So, viewers, kindly help such people. These people are really losers. They go into anxiety disorders, they have depression, they have obsessive compulsive disorder, because they go on getting obsessed with these games or the net or the mobile phone. So these people need help, and kindly get them to different centers, whichever is close by to your place, so that you can help these people come out of this problem. It is not easy to break the habit by themselves. They certainly need some people to help them and support them. And don't be unkind to them, because these people, because of the addiction, they become really helpless. They become helpless, and they go into such severe mood swings, they go into such severe depression that they start attempting suicide. You must have seen some addicts who have died. You must have seen in the papers, okay, such and such a person died. The person must have died because of some addictive problem. Maybe some drugs, or maybe certain things like the games, like PUBG. These things are very violent, and when you are not able to achieve what you want to achieve in these addictions, you start harming yourself. You feel that, okay, what's the use of life? Let me die. So this is not an answer to your problem. You have come to this world, so learn something. Try to help people. Learn good things, good habits. These are all there. You have the digital technology which really helps you, but use it as much as required. Don't simply start using it for hours on end and feel that, okay, you are achieving something. No, you're losing on your health. Health is very, very important for any person to live on this planet. Why do you want to get diseases? Even whether it's drug addiction, gutka addiction, people come out where, there's a hole in their cheek. They go through radiation, they go through chemotherapy. Ultimately, they die. They start consuming so many tablets. They get addicted to injections. They could develop malignancy of some part of the body. They die. Of course, all of us have to die one day. But let us die peacefully, not with all these problems. As much as possible, we should try to safeguard our health, sleep properly, eat properly, have time for our families, take care of our children, not just dump them on the teachers' heads and say that we are paying so much money as fees, let the teachers take care of them. No, it is the duty of the parents, of all the elders at home, to train these little ones who are growing up. So unless and until it is a effect by everybody, nothing works. Everyone should come together to support a growing child, teach good habits. And if you find that something is wrong, stop it. Tell them that, see, this is not good. Instead of this, give them another alternative. Either some hobby or something like bird watching or collecting stamps or learning an instrument, music, dance. There's so many things. So get rid of these addictions and try to remain safe. I know most of you people are working at home. Offices are not open yet. Schools, a few schools are open, but don't get addicted to these things. Try to interact with your family members and your friends. Thank you so much for your viewing. In case you have any problem, Prakruthi Foundation is always there to help you. Thank you so much.